Hello, hello, Heather Jane here. I'm here with another episode of Confidence with Coffee. Always, always with the caffeine. I'm trying harder to drink more water. It's part of my self-care, but it's a process and it's a daily practice. And some days it's a daily struggle, but I'm working on it. I'm doing my best. So today I wanted to share with you a little bit of the podcast that we've just recorded with Ziza Natur. It was just such a wonderful talk because when you meet somebody and you're just so aligned with them. Ziza comes from a stage background, a performing background, is a true artist, musician, writer, and yet I, coming from a corporate background and coming from a training and coaching background, have ended up in the same space as with Ziza, and I love that that's happened because in Confidence Through Cabaret we always talk about using your voice, raising your voice, sharing your message, and owning your space and taking up space and unapologetically holding space. And Ziza talks about very similar things around using voice, around content creation, and also around, feeling confident on stage. And so we also very much agree that, when you have a package program where it's one size fits all and it's a sheep dip and everybody goes through your package if they want to learn about confidence on stage or your voice or whatever it is, it's not really like that for Ziza and I. We both believe very much that it's an individual program and that it is something that is unique to what your needs are, and maybe you need more of something and less of something, and somebody else is the opposite or need something entirely different. And that for me is what authentic, genuine coaching is. I think there are a lot of coaching programs out there that are training programs. And I don't disrespect those. I think training programs are wonderful. I'm a training consultant, so I obviously don't have any malice for training programs, but I do believe and call it what it is. If it's a training program and I'm going to send you videos and I'm going to talk to you once in a while and tell you how to do things or the method that I'm going to follow, that's a training program, or even in some cases as mentoring, and not necessarily coaching. So coaching is more about, genuinely asking questions and helping the individual find their true power or whatever it is that they're trying to achieve. And it is very individual, and there isn't a program that you can sheep dip people into. So we talk about that on the podcast. Anywhere you get your podcasts, go check out Confidence Through Cabaret, and it's Ziza Natur that you'll find the podcast for this week. So we talked about such a range of things. We talked about stage fright. We talked about tapping into your purpose. We talked about knowing your why. We talked about toxic positivity, which is something that is just such a big subject for me. And something that I'm sharing fairly regularly on social media, because I think, I've been through some very hard times. And when people say, well, cheer up, or it could be worse, or it'll get better, or look on the bright side, that is not what happens for me. Is I'm already feeling like I've in some way I'm grieving, or I've done something that's wrong, or not done something. And then somebody to say, well, look on the bright side, or cheer up. It's like, okay, good. So I'm not even failing at my I'm failing at my feelings as well. I'm not even right in how I feel, and I need to feel better. I followed that toxic positivity for decades. Until recently, probably even until lockdown. I knew it was toxic. I knew that always looking on the bright side, that always finding the positive. I'm an optimist by nature, so that doesn't change. But I think there are times when we have to get real with our feelings and let them come out, and let them, you feel them, and then let them pass in along the stream, because I held all of mine. And then 2019, 2020 was a big revelation, because guess what? All those feelings were all still inside me, toxically stuffed. and I'm not saying was the cause of my breast cancer, but it certainly didn't help my health. I had a car accident at the end of 2019. I had neck and back injuries, and it didn't help me because I was holding on to so much tension. It did not help me to be able to release those feelings so that my body could heal. So I'm a fan of, kind of calling out toxic positivity and so something like stage fright, when you're talking about stage fright, and I have real stage fright, not so much. I have that very much in control when I'm running a conference face to face. I've gotten very good at that because I know I'm able to talk to myself. I know what I'm doing. I've done the preparation. I know what I'm talking about. I'm able to center. But with something like, cabaret, for instance, then that's where anything can happen. And, that's a whole different thing. And you're putting yourself out there as opposed to your content out there. So that's a big moment of, allowing yourself to be judged. But also, I used to suffer with stage fright for, going on social media. I didn't even want my picture on social media. And before I started Confidence Through Cabaret with my co-pioneers, I did not want my picture up. I had an account with no story, only posts that I was tagged in, and only a profile picture, and only because you kind of have to. We don't have to, but it's kind of strange otherwise. And I didn't use my real name because I only wanted it to be for people that I wanted to tell about it, so people couldn't necessarily find me. And so I liked to stay very anonymous. And so opening myself up into the whole social media stage, doing lives, doing podcasts, doing trainings, doing all the social media stuff, it's been an interesting thing. It's been an interesting revelation. And it is quite a different stage. I never run out of content, as you'll probably found if you've been following this channel or my IGTV or any of my socials. Certainly on confidencethroughcabaret.com, I've always got 10 different ideas for masterclasses, and I have to kind of hold myself back and sort of say, well, let me welcome other people to share their skills, knowledge, and experience, and really, kind of share the expertise of others on confidencethroughcabaret.com, not just mine. So I don't have a thing about content, but, talking to the little green light is way different to talking to a room full of people, or even talking, on a Zoom call or those kind of things. So stage fright comes to us in different forms and at different times. For some people, talking on an audio platform like Clubhouse is difficult, even though nobody can see you. Just even putting your message out there and you're using your voice, it can feel like stage fright. So I wanted to share this little clip with you that Ziza and I talked about how she handles rejection. Now, bear in mind that Ziza is a musician and a stage performer and has been since she was about 7 years old. So have a listen to this little text about handling rejection.
Oh, I know bad reviews are scary. I always got those because you get some amazing reviews, but you cannot run away from bad reviews. You will always get them no matter what you do because you cannot please everybody. And of course, they will disappoint you and you will feel sad. You'll feel upset because you've put your heart into whatever you did over there. And you sometimes feel, I don't know, it's not right. Why are they being so mean to me? I just put my heart out over there. It's what I was able to do at that moment. Maybe tomorrow I would make it better, but it was what I was able to do at that time. And in time, I've learned to accept this sadness, to accept this grief, because we as artists, we're like, I don't know, we're like children in our hearts and we tend to get hurt easily. But I think the best way is not to run away from sadness and from grief. It's like when you're losing a dear person, you just grieve and then you move over. You reward yourself maybe a bit for being strong. You give yourself a little gift to soothe the pain. And then you move forward. You create some more. And that's what eases the pain the most.
Yes, I love that. I love that. That's that section about rejection. It's the biggest thing I struggled with cabaret or being on stage. My aerial things. It was that what will people say or think, and being okay with people not being okay with you. That is something that you have to get used to and you have to get better at and you have to learn. And just as, Ziza talks about this in the podcast about, using your voice and, not using too many filler words and getting used to being able to just kind of speak naturally. Those things come with practice. So does, that kind of fear of rejection. And I think, if you're talking to your right audience and if you're taking them through a journey or you're sharing a story and you put the time and the effort and the work in, and so you're honoring their time spent in watching you or participating with you, people genuinely want you to do well. And I've talked about this before on this channel, but it is important to remember that people do want you to do well. They're not typically there to watch you fail. They're not there to, object or to heckle or, people do want you, especially if you have the right people there, then, the right audience that have connected with you. Or in my case, if it's, they love cabaret, they don't want to see that go wrong. They don't want to see, and yeah, maybe, it's enjoyable to see it when something goes a bit wrong. I've been to lots of cabarets where the sound system has failed and they've had to start again, and should they continue or should they stop, and falling off stage as my former co-pioneer has done, falling over in heels, which I've done, those kind of things. People will forgive it and then forget it and enjoy the experience because they know we're human. So I think, when you think about stage fright, having that perspective that people genuinely do want you to do well is important. And then what Ziza's taking us through, around kind of your own thought process and how you handle the nerves and how you handle that. When people don't like you, that's a big one for me. Right. Like I need people to like me. It's a weird thing. And I've started to let go of that, more recently in the last couple of years. But up until then, everything had to be, what will people think? What will make them like me? Even if I'm never going to see them again. So I was very much a people pleaser. I know a couple of my children are like that as well. A couple of them aren't actually that bothered because they know that they're doing their best and they have a different way of internalizing that. But I think if you are externally referenced, if the outside world matters to what you think, then that can be a really hard one to overcome. Join us in Confidence Through Cabaret on the Facebook community. We could talk more about that there. I'm always happy to share topics that help people to feel more confident or to overcome things that they struggle with, particularly in personal life, work life, or stage life. You will find Confidence Through Cabaret on all of the socials as Confidence Through Cabaret. You'll also find me as Heather Jean, and you'll find me on Clubhouse as Heather YBYWYS, and you'll find us on Twitter at YBYWYS, and those letters stand for it is your body, it is your world, and it is your stage. Take up space, own it. Enjoy it. Go check out the podcast, Confidence Through Cabaret, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you again for being with us. Thank you, Ziza, for being with me. And thank you for liking and subscribing to this. Bye for now.